some fun this morning. Everybody over on the YouTube side, I see you guys just came up. Good to see you all. It is Sunday morning. It is June 18th. And again, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. So what do you all want? Hey, Joe, I think I just saw you just got married. Congratulations, my friend. Cheers. Cheers to you on many years of happiness. Everybody, make sure you congratulate Joe. He just got married. All right, Joe. Way to go. Yay. So, hi, any recommendation for seasickness? So we've got some. There are multiple out there. So first of all, the one everybody knows is the patch that goes behind the ear. There is a little patch that goes behind the ear. However, if you are thinking about that, I highly recommend you talk to your doctor first because there can be side effects from patches. The second thing, there are bands for your wrist, and they put a little pressure on the inside of your wrist. The one that our dear friend Stephanie uses is actually called C bands. That's C bands. You can also do ginger, like ginger candy, tea, things like that, as well as the cruise swears by Green Apples.
And there is, of course, the over the counter like Bonine and other
Dramamine, things like that. So those are the recommendations that we have for sickness. Good morning, Mindy. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining in. I'm really about that family cruise that we're talking about. Hopefully we'll get that planned up soon. And I guess you guys want to take a few minutes too. So let's get together and talk. By the way, Rebecca, Mindy, and Zach are going to be annual pass holders soon. So we'll be able to meet up in Disney World. Yes! I can't wait. So you're welcome. Peace out, yo. I hope that was helpful. Joe, beautiful day. I'm so glad, man. I am so excited. I know your delayed honeymoon is coming up soon, so I can't wait for all of that and hear all about that as well. But welcome to everybody, Cruise Chat Live. If you have questions about cruising, anything you want to know about cruising, or just travel in general, I am a independent travel advisor, and as always, I've got my wife Rebecca sitting right off camera, who does a lot of the research, and she goes to the cruises with me as well. Hey, Mindy, good. I'm glad you're going to be in touch soon to plan some future fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, travel is fun, so that'll be that's what it's all about. If you're not having fun, why are we traveling? So,
and for Peace Out Yo, you can get health ship. I think they have shots they can give you.
Yes.
But it will, depending on who you ask, you might get the first one free and then you'll have to pay, but you may have to also pay for it. Because your medical insurance will not cover you will likely not cover you on the ship. Very few insurances do.
Yeah. So if you're just that, there are very good medical facilities on cruise ship, basically affordable, but they're expensive. They're quite expensive. So you want to come on with as much of your own material as possible. Like Rebecca said, sometimes you'll get that first shot or that first medication for free, and then after that, they'll start charging you, and it gets very expensive pretty quick. Hey, Norma, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And Becky, good to see you. We're going to later on this afternoon about the Panama Canal. I can't wait. How is traveling to Poland these days? I really have up on that currently, so I can't answer that directly. I'll be glad to look up some of that later, but I just don't know offhand. Joe, 60 days and counting to Playa del Carmen. Ooh. It's so exciting. I know. So, and you know, Joe brings up a great point. We don't just we actually book travel all over the world. Unfortunately, I don't know about Poland offhand, but yeah. So he's going to an all-inclusive resort. So we do that. We've got clients going over to Europe on inclusive tours. So it's going to be awesome. Peace out, yo. Please advise on travel insurance going on Cunard. Awesome. Wow, you're going on Cunard. What a awesome cruise line. Travel insurance through the cruise lines themselves. You really got to look carefully because for the most part, they're not that great. What they're really good at is if you have to cancel your cruise. They're really good at you know, you can get a refund or you get a future cruise credit or something like that. That's what they're really designed to do. They're not so good with medical coverage if something actually happens to you in the cruise. You've got to be treated on the ship, or, worse yet, you've got to be disembarked to a hospital so you can get further treatment. That's where those insurance policies kind of fall apart, and we have gotten, and why we recommend third-party travel insurance versus getting the travel through the cruise line. So as travel advisors, our partner is Allianz Global, who we sell. And typically our policies include $50,000 in medical coverage per person and up to $1,000 in medical evacuation. And what that means is they're going to fly you back to the United States. Keep in mind, they have to fly you back on a medical ambulance, far more expensive than just flying back on an airplane. So that's why it's $500,000 per person. So that's the travel insurance. We highly recommend it for every cruise. Do I know of any cruises that travel to East? Oh, go ahead.
If you want to just do some research on your own, you can also use
insuremytrip.com. Right. Insuremytrip.com. Thank you. And if you live in Canada, insuremytrip.ca. Look at that. Do I know of any cruises that travel to Eastern Europe? Yeah.
Well, there's river cruises.
Yeah.
And then there used to be some cruises that did stops in Russia, but I think most of them have stopped.
Just everything that's going on over there. There may be some European cruise lines that might have a stop or two in there, but I think Israel, Turkey.
That's not really Eastern Europe.
Not Eastern Europe, but I'm trying to think what's as far over there. Croatia.
Well, no, there's like there probably are still some that would stop in Finland.
Yeah.
There used to be a stop in what was the other stop? But there was some Russian stops, Finland.
Right. A lot of Russian stops. It used to be like the Baltic was like it.
Yeah, but that's kind of slowed down.
Pretty much shut down or slowed down. So we haven't had any requests for like the Baltic and Eastern Europe. I haven't really investigated what's even still open. I personally wouldn't feel all that comfortable going over there with so much going on.
But with the river cruises, the countries they're going to like Budapest and Hungary and some of the other ones.
Yeah.
That would be.
You can still do those. So river cruising, yes. Ocean cruising, we don't know offhand. There might be. Christopher, your wife is from Panama. You're going there this Christmas. That is so awesome. Kitties Rock, 2 weeks to Oasis of Beach. Yay! You're going to have a lot of fun. I think, anyway. I was blown away by the Oasis class. I think I was going to enjoy the Oasis class, but I flat out loved it. We were on the Symphony of the Sea. So much fun. I mean, the ship is huge, but it is so much fun. So, have a great time. Good morning, Cindy. Thanks so much for coming on. Cindy, having purchased travel insurance twice, the insurance isn't bad for the coverage. No, it from what I can tell, is generally around 10%. And the cost of the travel insurance, or just travel insurance in general, there's three major factors that come into play with travel. The state that you live in, because every state has different rules and regulations. Like I can tell you, Washington, they have some of the best rates.
And I can also tell you that many of the cruise line insurance policies cannot be sold to residents of New York State for some reason.
So it's the state that you live in. Obviously, your age is going to come into play. And then the price of the travel. Those are the three big things that come into play. In general, it seems to 10% of the cruise, but it could be plus or minus depending. Again, your age comes into play. But this actually does play a rather large part, it seems, in the pricing. Because I notice the pricing jumps all over the place.
The biggest factors though are generally your age and the cost of the travel.
Mm-hmm. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining in. Let's see, Pip, how are you, Pip? Good to see you. Are there any multi-cruise travel packages on the market? You mentioned insurance. So, Pip, what there is annual policies. So you can get a policy for 12 months instead of a cruise. And depending on your age and all the factors and how much coverage you want, it can actually be like if you go on 3 cruises, certainly the cost of the insurance for those 3 cruises is probably going to be more than if you bought for the annual. Now, the one about the annual, there's only one policy out there that I've seen. I think it's from Blue Cross Blue Shield. Actually, one of our viewers told us about it because I didn't see it. Any pre-existing conditions are not covered in most annual travel policies. Now the one from Blue Cross Blue Shield does. So that's the idea, Pitt. If you are going on multiple cruises, just get an annual policy, especially if you're going on 3 or more each year, or 3 or more like week-long travel per year. Probably worth it to look into the annual policy. And again, insuremytrip.com is where you can do some research on it. Or if you want to reach out to, certainly be happy to do that. And by the way, I did send you some travel insurance quotes on your upcoming travels. We could always convert that over to an annual policy instead. So thanks for joining us, Pip. Good to see you.
And one thing to be aware of, that pre-existing condition clause not only applies to you, but can apply to your relatives. So say you have elderly relative.
If they're on the same policy. Oh.
No, what I'm talking about is, say you have an elderly relative with a heart condition, and they're not with you, but they pass away and you want to be covered, that may not be covered. Because condition that,
gotcha,
if they died from a heart attack, then would maybe possibly be covered.
Gotcha.
So
wow.
It's not only your own pre-existing conditions.
Well, it's true. So Chris saying that his brother-in-law had a heart attack on a cruise, very expensive, but it stayed. It's like, wow, that is stuff.
And they can do amazing things. I mean, they can't do everything.
Yeah. And in a situation like that, like I said, when you have to get medical coverage on a ship, or you got to get service on a ship, it is very expensive to do so. Rebecca actually had to get some x-rays at one point because she slipped and fell on the cruise, ended up with her ankle. Fortunately, in that case, we didn't have to pay anything. But if we did have to pay, I think it was like in the neighborhood of $7 just for one x-ray on a cruise ship. So cruises do have amazing medical facilities, but you're going to pay for them if you have to use them. So just like a passport, you don't need travel until you need it, and you don't need a passport until you need it. So highly recommend both of those things.
The other thing to be aware of with the travel medical is that you will have to pay. You just get reimbursed later on.
Yes.
The insurance.
Just like a lot of insurance, especially with medical, you got to pay and then get reimbursed later.
Yes.
Shannon, question: what's the difference between river and ocean cruising other than the body of water? That's the most obvious ship, the water that you're going on. Well, the second one, obviously the size of the ship. The ship's going to be much smaller. Our ships. Thirdly, for the most part, you're going to notice that a lot of river cruising is all inclusive or mostly inclusive. Like some of them will say, oh, you can have beer and wine dinner. That's included. If you have it at other times, you got to pay for it. Some of them, oh, it's totally included. Some of them, your shore excursion can be included. Maybe one shore excursion is included. So you're going to notice that they're more inclusive for the most part than an ocean going cruise. The biggest thing that is really about ocean cruising versus river cruising, that when you go on a river cruise and you go to city, you actually go to the city. Like the ship pulls right up in the city. You step out, you get in the downtown square or just on the outskirts of a downtown. You're basically in walking distance of most everything when you go on river cruises. That's a big difference between them. And the other cool thing that happens sometimes, if you're not the first ship that ties up at the dock, the other ships tie up to the first ship. In some cases, you actually get to walk across other ships to get to the shore. Never going to do that on an ocean cruise. Like, you get on another ship if you're on an ocean cruise. So I remember our friends telling us they went on their first ocean cruise, their first river cruise, and he was like, wait, I can walk across? Yeah. Can I look at the ship? Yeah, go ahead. It was just like, oh, this is really different. Of course, the river cruises are expensive for the most part per person, depending on what we're comparing. If we're comparing a mainstream ocean, if we're comparing, say, a Viking Ocean and a Viking River, they're not going to be quite as different, but they do tend to be more expensive per person. So yeah, that's really the big part. The ships are smaller, they tend to be more all-inclusive. And when you go to a destination like great ocean cruising, you go to Rome. You don't go to Rome because you can't take a ship to Rome. Be a miracle if you could.
Rome is inland.
So you go to Civitavecchia and then you take a 1 hour or 1 bus ride to actually get to Rome. Whereas with a river cruise, when you go to Bordeaux, you're still into Bordeaux right there. So that is the big differences between. And if you like talking cruises, I mean, we represent AMA, Avalon, Viking, Uniworld, Emerald, Crystal, Sea, all of them. So if you want to talk about river cruising, We do have clients on river cruises as well. Tara, good morning. How are you? Good to see you, Nurse Tara. Thank you so much for joining in. Glad to see everybody on our Simulcast YouTube and TikTok. So thanks so much. Teacher Mama, you're planning an Alaska cruise next Sunday. Best cruise ever. Our thoughts on which cruise line? Well, if you've been with us before, you've heard about Princess and Holland America. We do lean into Princess and Holland America first with Alaska cruises because they've been up there so long. And especially if you have time to do a cruise tour, which is a land sea. So if you want to be on land, Princess has their own lodges. I think 4 lodges on land. So when you do the land portion of it, you're actually staying with Princess Cruises, and then you do the ship. Holland America, I don't think has quite as many.
They have one.
They have one. The Denali. And other cruise lines do offer that land sea tour, but it's a combination of various hotels and that. Princess, literally, you're with Princess the entire time, land and sea. So those are that we really lean into. And then beyond that is, what are you looking for? The big thing about Alaska that I think may or may not take into consideration that Alaska, is the star. You're going up there to see Alaska. This is like a bucket list. This is a once in a lifetime thing. It's basically a river cruise with a really big ship because you're generally within sight of land the entire time, going very far. So I prefer smaller ships to the big ships because you're going to be doing a port stop almost every single day. They're going to be long port stops for the most, except maybe the Victoria one. And so all of these bells and whistles that are on the ship, you may or may not be able to experience them like you would maybe on a Caribbean cruise where you're going to spend more time on the ship, sea days, things like that. So I tend to go for smaller ships in Alaska, all the bells and whistles that are on them. But that's kind of where I'd lean in. Teacher Mama, if you want to reach out, we'd be more than happy to help you out. You click on our logo, go to our link, set up a meeting with us. We booked a whole clients up in Alaska this year and next year. But that's where I would start out. I hope that was Jermaine, you've been on every Oasis class ship, and Oasis is your favorite. That's all. That's awesome. The original. And of course, I'm sure you've all seen the news that Utopia is emerging from the darkness. It's like we heard about Utopia of the Seas, the final Oasis class ship, and then it just disappeared because Icon Fever took over. They announced this past week, I think it's Tuesday, they're finally going to take the wraps off Utopia and tell us what it's all about. I'm very interested to see what are they going to do. This is their final Oasis class ship. That we don't think they're going to build another one. So what did they evolve in the Oasis class? And did they, sneak a little something from Oasis and bring it, from Icon and bring it over? It's going to be very interesting to see what that. Your favorite class of Royal ship are the Quantum class. You wish they would make more. They're a beautiful ship. Of course, you got the North Star, primarily made for Alaska. Like I think it's the Quantum of the Seas. It's the Odyssey of the Seas. I think specifically was made for with the North Star and all of that. One of them was made specifically for Alaska. It wasn't Odyssey. Maybe all of them. I don't know. One of the earlier ones. It was one of the earlier ones. But hey, Aaron, how are you? Good morning in Los Angeles. Good to see you. That's right. We have a meeting tomorrow. I can't wait to talk to you guys tomorrow.
Jermaine says it was Ovation.
Ovation. Okay, thank you for that. I can't keep track of all of them, but thank you very much. Appreciate you clarifying that. But yeah, I think the Quantum class is a nice class of ship. It's a really good size. We saw Odyssey when we went out on the Sky Princess Odyssey behind us. I was like, wow, she's a pretty ship. We have not been on the Quantum class yet. We're gonna hopefully correct that sooner than later. Good morning, Dorothy. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Thank you so much. Let's see, Caradan, you're going on your first Royal Caribbean cruise. This just for your honeymoon. Welcome to the cruise family. Oh, well, you're going on your first Royal Caribbean cruise. I don't know if your first one. Welcome to Royal Caribbean. You're going for your honeymoon. That is going to be amazing. Dorothy, do they have cruises leaving from New York City? Do we have cruises leaving from New York City? We've got a bunch now. New York has become even more popular than it was before. So depending on the time of year, Carnival, Holland America, Princess, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Cunard, did I leave some? MSC. So we've got at least 7 cruise lines. I'm probably forgetting some there, but yeah, so you've got a bunch. And in fact, the Carnival Venezia just showed up, the former Venezia. She's getting rave reviews. She looks gorgeous. I've been watching all of the Instagram from the cruise director. Oh my goodness gracious, the Venezia. So the Venezia looks like a Carnival ship. It looks like Carnival all grown up. It just simply beautiful. So like right now, you've got the MSC Meraviglia is up there. I don't know, and some of Bayonne, New Jersey. There's Cape Liberty in Bayonne, New Jersey. Like Norwegian and Royal Caribbean are over there. So,
there's some in Brooklyn too.
Yeah, so
out of Brooklyn.
So Brooklyn and Manhattan. MSC is out of Brooklyn. Carnival is out of Manhattan. Princess out of both. So yeah, you've got a lot of choices up there, and some, depending on the time of year, some go to New England up that way, and then others go down into the Caribbean, down to Bermuda, or sometimes even further than that. So yeah, you've got all kinds of cruises. Feel free to reach out, Dorothy. We'd be glad to help you. And for those of you who are watching now, if you're watching on YouTube, there are links in the. If you're watching on TikTok, if you click our logo and then you go into the link, you're going to find our link tree. And that very first link on there is contact us. And that'll take you right to my calendar. You can set up a time to chat. I'll give you a call. So I that online calendar to make it easier for you guys. So this way you can just set up a time that's convenient for you. It's worked out really well. I've had fun meeting y'all, or we can do a call or a video chat. So let's see, Chris, you have your first cruise tomorrow. Yay! Congratulations. Oh man. And all of you who are watching right now, we have a private Facebook page. I wish y'all would come on over there. If you look us up on Facebook, Walter Travel, you're going to find a public page that you can just click to follow, and then there's a private Facebook group. Folks have been joining the group in there, and they post their own pictures and stuff. I love to see you guys going out on your cruises. That is so awesome. Congratulations, Chris. Have an amazing time. Ronnie's going on the seaside October 1st. Yacht Club birthday. Way to do it up. Happy birthday early. Well, I'll tell you what, that ship really impressed us. We had a great time on the seaside. And I say Ocean Cay is my favorite private island, like actual private island. Bimini Beach Resort from Virgin Voyages is still my favorite cruise line resort. But that Ocean Cay was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. So, thank you, Nurse Tara. Celebrity Cape Liberty too, which makes sense because they are a Royal Caribbean brand. So Royal Caribbean Celebrity, both Liberty, and that's actually a cruise line that I left off. They're also out of New York. Now, some of these cruise lines are only times of the year. Some of the cruise lines are there all year long. So what is my favorite thing to do on a Royal Caribbean Alaska? We've never taken Royal Caribbean to Alaska. We've only taken Princess. So I can tell our favorite thing to do, however, in Juneau, Harve and Maud. Whale watching. That's an independent company. You're not going to be able to book that through the cruise line, to my knowledge. Maybe they have some that they're working with the cruise line, but Harve and Marv whale watching in Juneau. Fabulous. Small boats, great people. In Skagway, Temsco helicopters. They have a helicopter tour that'll fly you up to the dog sled camp. If they're bad, they can't get up to the dog sled camp, they'll give you the option to either give you a refund or land on a glacier. We chose to land on a glacier. It was amazing. And then in Ketchikan, the weather rained us out, but pilot Michelle Island Wings Air up in Ketchikan. It's a float plane. She does the float plane tour. She's supposed to be the best. So we haven't gotten back up to Ketchikan to try her again, but I looked it up recently. She's still up there. So those are my 3 things that I would recommend. Of course, as always, bring bringers, and we highly recommend a 3-in-1 jacket. Ours is from but you can get them from other companies as well. And basically, you've got the inner liner that's warmer, you got the outer liner, windbreaker, and a rain slicker. You put them together, it's a really warm jacket. You take them apart, you can just use the windbreaker. So those are my recommendations. Philip, you can't wait for the Icon of the Seas. And we are going to be sailing on Icon of the Seas with early press events. We're probably only going to be on it for 2 nights, so I'm just going to drink Red Bull the entire time. I'm not. Rebecca will go to sleep. I'm just going to stay awake the entire time and try to do everything on that ship in 2 days. Becky, second to dog sled camp. Yeah, I really, next time we go up, I'm really hoping that we can do the dog camp. So, oh my God. You're welcome, Teacher Mama. And again, if you want to reach out, our services are free. We try to do our best to give you a great vacation. Good morning, Frank. How are you? Talk to you this week about Alaska. Jermaine, again, thank you, Jermaine, for patient information. Philip, do I think the water park will cost extra on icon? We don't know yet. I would be surprised if it does. I would be very surprised if it does.
There could possibly be
like one or two. Yeah.
It might.
But you know, the Flow Rider is not. The iFly.
I don't believe so.
Those of you who have been on the Quantums, again, remind me, I don't think the has a fee, does it?
As far as I'm aware, the North Star has a fee if you're in port, but not at sea. Last I heard.
Yeah. So I don't think the water park will. There could, like we said, there might be certain activities that might. I'm really looking forward to seeing that big swim up bar. Have y'all looked at all? That's a very adult ship too. They've done a lot for the adults as well on the ship. I'm really interested in that. Frank was on the Odyssey for the Mediterranean cruise. It was beautiful, lovely. Thank you, Frank, for that. Let me see. Kyle is saying that Disney's your favorite cruise line. May 2024 will be your 7th Disney. And you just did Alaska. I'll tell you what, you did Alaska on Disney. We love Mickey and Minnie's outfits in Alaska. They're just adorable. So freaking adorable. You know, I would even consider Alaska, you know, on Disney because they do send the small ship. I can't remember which ship, Magic Wonder usually is the one that's up there. So I would consider a cruise on Disney. You know, we talked about it earlier. I said Princess, Holland America. I think Celebrity would probably be my third choice going up there. And then, you know, yeah, maybe Disney Cunard is up there. We've got some other smaller ships, Seabourn, they're up there. So I think there's over 60 cruise ships in Alaska right now. It is absolutely crazy. So, but yeah, Disney, I'll tell you what, Disney is an amazing cruise line. Still waiting word on the Treasure, what's going to be happening with the Treasure. They're building that brand new cruise terminal in Lauderdale, right? Yeah, Fort Lauderdale. They're building a brand new, or they're renovating a cruise terminal, I think it is. So next year they'll start operating out of there right about the time the Treasure comes out. So that's going to be really interesting. Hey, thanks for the subscription on YouTube. I really appreciate everybody subscribing. Really appreciate all the support, everybody. It's been amazing. Best cruise line for Alaska. So yeah, we just talked about that. There really is no best cruise line, but the one that we lean into is Princess and Holland America. Those are the two come to us. Unless there's a specific reason not to, we're going to lean into those two first because we feel like they're best. They've been there the longest. And but there are so many on Alaska today. We can send you on Norwegian. We can send you on Royal Caribbean, Silver Sea, Seabourn. Expeditions has some amazing expeditions up in Alaska too. If you want to do it totally different, you know, you're not going to pull up to, you're going to get on a Zodiac and go zipping into somewhere, and you're going to get to go to some places that you can't get to on the big ship. Even American Cruise Line, it's up there, 170 people, I think, on those little ships. Awesome. Jada, single traveler, better to go on Norwegian single cabin or pay supplement on others? That's a great question. It depends. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Now, first of all, what's really interesting is there are solo cabins everywhere out there. Like we've found, I think, over 200 cabins on Royal Caribbean, for example, including balconies, like balconies that open up to the outside for a solo traveler. Celebrity Cruise Line, infinite balcony for solo travelers. Virgin Voyages has inside and ocean view for solo travelers. Right now, Virgin Voyages has 0 single supplement if you go to Europe and you sail on the Resilient Lady in Europe, including the big Richard Branson celebration that they're doing. August 7th, you can sail for 1 week with Richard Branson and other members of his company to celebrate 50 years of voyages. You can go as a solo traveler, no single supplement. So it depends on what you're looking. I mean, you have a lot more options than going NCL. That's the one everybody knows for solo. There are many more solo options out there that might surprise you. So feel free to reach out. We'll be happy.
Ultimately, you just need to price it both ways.
Yeah.
Price a solo cabin on the cruise you're interested in. Price a similar cabin for regular as just one person. See what
happens.
Sometimes the difference is not that much, and you get a lot more space.
Like,
And with certain cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, you will get double loyalty points. Not every cruise line, but I know Royal does it. You'll get double loyalty points by traveling standard cabin as a solo traveler.
Yeah, you get points for both berths in there. So I mean, they're way in there. And like right now, I actually put somebody on that Richard Branson celebration, the big 50th anniversary. They're going to travel in a standard inside cabin, which is larger than the solo inside cabin, but it's cheaper. It was $400 cheaper because of the no solo supplement. So you even run into situations like that, where it's like, well, it's actually cheaper for you to go in the bigger cabin than it is for you to go in the smaller cabin. So why wouldn't you? So there's a lot of options.
Price it both ways, see what works best for you.
There's a lot of options out there. And that's one of the things that we do as travel advisors. I've been surprised on Princess a couple of times where I go in and I price a solo cabin and it's not double. It's like, oh, it's actually like, I don't know, like half of what I expected it to be. So sometimes just by planning various offers and various things, sometimes we can tweak the numbers and it's like, oh, look, we got a better deal for that solo. So, but again, reach out if you'd like some help. Again, our services are free. We'd be happy to help you find a good solo cabin. Like we're working with Stephanie right now from the Sean and Steph channel. Very be working with her, but she's a solo traveler. We just sent her on the Norwegian Spirits. If her YouTube channel, you're watching it now, she's in Hawaii right now on the blog, and she will soon be in Alaska. It was a 16-day cruise that she took. Alaska, and then, Hawaii first, and then all of them.
And I think for the most part, she's traveled in standard cabins as a solo traveler.
Yeah, she really doesn't like the solo cab. She likes to go standard. So we do our best to get the best rates. You're going on the Allura. Maggie is going on the next Sunday. Lovely ship. Jermaine, have we heard anything about the new Royal Caribbean Club opening in Nassau? Just about that. That's about all we heard. Now, what's interesting about that club is for Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean is going to open it and run it, but anybody can book time. You pay to go there. This is not just you get off the Royal Caribbean ship and you just go walk over there. This is a beach. It's going to be a paid resort. And anybody from any ship can book. And so it's not just a Royal Caribbean. It's being built by Royal Caribbean, but not just for Royal Caribbean passengers. So that's interesting. The Arctic Bar in Ketchikan. Nice. I like it. Thoughts on mainland China? They have, they just announced today that there's Adora that was a partnership with China and with Carnival, and they're still a partnership as far as I know, but they're removing the Carnival name. They're kind of rebranding the whole thing. And then, of course, Disney's going to release the Global Dream in China. So that's going to be very interesting. Rob, how is the MSC private island? I think it's awesome. So I think a lot of people don't, because of the roughness of the shore. Okay, this is not beautiful sandy all around the island. They've left it. The actual name of it is MSC Marine Reserve. And that's really what it's like. So a lot of the shores are rugged rocks. You need to have water shoes, flat out. Get yourself some water shoes before you go. And when you see video of it, you see pictures of it, you're like, wow, it's kind of scruffy. It's not all that great. When you're on the island, I thought it was absolutely beautiful. It's now my favorite island. There are a couple of beaches. There is the inner lagoon area, and then the beach right by the ship, the sandy beaches. And then the rest of the shore is very rugged. It is just natural. There's no big water park or anything like that. But the coolest thing for us, we had an overnight, and I've never stayed at a private island. So the big beach party was at night. So we weren't in the heat. It was lovely. We were out there at like, 8:30 at night, 8:30 to about 10:30 at night. It was beautiful. The ship was gorgeous, all lit up at night. So I think the MSC private island, fantastic. So what were my official thoughts on MSC? Well, I did give a short review on TikTok. I do need to do a slightly longer one, but I think if you have to take MSC for what it is. MSC is not Carnival. MSC is not Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Princess. They're not anybody else. They are, or you have to go in with expectation. You're paying a lot less to go on MSC than even Carnival, right? They're cheaper than Carnival in some classes, on some sailings, things like that. So you can't expect to pay a lower price and premium, top dollar, everything. So for what we paid, I thought the buffet was better. than Carnival and NCL. I thought the main dining room was better than Carnival and NCL. We'll talk about that in a minute. They had homemade mozzarella, homemade burrata on the buffet for 2 days. That was unbelievable. The island was great. The Vinci chocolate, oh my God, they made was amazing. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect in any way, but we took it for what it was. It was like, I think overall we said we see a solid 7. You know, as a cruise line, a solid 7. We've been on 9 different cruise lines now. We give them a solid 7. But for value, we give them an 8.5 because of the price we paid for what we got. I mean, we beautiful balcony cabin up on deck 15. We had a great time. We didn't have any issues with customer service. We didn't really see much of a negative. The ship could use a dry dock. She's definitely a little worse for wear. She could use a dry dock, but there was nothing show-stopping about the entire cruise. Now, the next time we are going to go again, we're going to go on the Seashore, or we're going to go on the Seascape, which is the newer, the Evo, what they call the evolution of the, and we're going to stay in Yacht Club that time. But we purposely went standard because we are travel advisors. So we're sure that if we send somebody on that ship, they are going to have a good time, and we need to set the expectation for what the ship. So we would gladly sail MSC again. And I think anybody who goes into that, it is a family. We'll say that there were a lot of families on there, and I met multiple families, 10 up to 20 people. And they were like, you know, we priced out Carnival, we priced out Royal, we priced out NCL. This was the best deal. It really is the best deal. So I think if you go in with the right expectations of what MSC is, you're going to have a great time.
Skip ahead. Someone's asking about the private island with the scooter.
Yeah. So I think the MSC private island is the best one I've seen for scooters and wheelchairs. Big, wide paths. And in fact, I have a video on here, I think 4 things about MSC. It's in my MSC playlist. And that's one of the things I pointed out, because they have big carts, trams that go all around the island. It's very wide paths. So if you're in a scooter or you're in a wheelchair, really easy island to get around. You can pretty much go almost anywhere on the island. And then they do have the big sand wheelchair you out onto the beach. So yeah, if you're in a scooter, Ocean Cay is going to be a great island to get around. Halibut fishing was awesome. You saw a bunch of, oh wow, halibut fishing up in Alaska. That's amazing. Yes, Frank, I can't wait to talk about booking your cabin. Your sister-in-law is on Disney in Alaska right now. I'll tell you what, Disney would be absolutely a fun to go cruise up in Alaska. You know, again, we just love Mickey and Minnie's outfits. Want to see Mickey and Minnie in those outfits. They look freaking adorable. You want to go back out on the Allure Galveston. You love that ship. Yeah, so the Allure is there now. She's going to be replaced by the Harmony, because the Allure, I think, it's the one that's going to come to Port Canaveral. So it's still going to be an Oasis ship. They're going to do a little. And of course, in Galveston, you got the Carnival Jubilee coming. And oh my gosh, the Carnival Jubilee looks. And either 2024, 2025, you got MSC coming in. You got the Norwegian V or the Prima. One of those two is going to be coming in for a season. So you got a lot of stuff happening in Galveston right now. Enhoff, what do we think about the Norwegian cruise line? I think the cruise line. So here's the strengths of Norwegian. All right. Specialty dining, outstanding. Food is one of our favorite restaurants on any cruise ship. On the breakaway class and up, they have that waterfront that goes about 3/4 of the way ship. That's like our go-to place because there's not a whole lot of shade up top. Rebecca likes shade. I think the pool areas are a little small size of those ships. So we tend to hang out down on the waterfront on the shaded side of the ship, whichever side that. Number 3, amazing entertainment. They have some really, really good entertainment on the Norwegian ship, and they have great cruise director staff, entertainment staff, really good folks there. And I've been really impressed with some of the bars, like specific bars, like on the Escape, the Tobacco Road bar. I think that's the best bar that Norwegian has on all of their ships. So great cruise line. And of course, they've got the Haven, you know, in the ship within the ship. Cindy was on here earlier. She might still be here. Cindy just did the Haven for her birthday. Of course, Stephanie with Sean and Steph channel, they pretty much always stayed up in the Haven. So you've got that ship within a ship experience. MSC has the Yacht Club, certainly cheaper on MSC. So I think Norwegian is a fabulous, fabulous cruise line. Time for fun. Josie, thank you so much. Yeah, reach out. I look forward to booking you as well. Sandra, have we been on an Antarctica cruise? No, not yet. Not yet. Want to.
Gary Bembridge has.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Gary Bembridge, Tips for Travelers over on YouTube. He's such a nice guy, super nice guy. Haven't yet, but I've had a lot of digital conversations with him, through Twitter and whatnot. One of the nicest guys you're ever gonna see on cruising. So he has done Antarctica. So if you want to look into that, of course, we do represent Hurtigruten. We represent Silver Seas, Sea, all the ones that do go up into Antarctica. So if you'd like to talk about it, Hurtigruten is the one that I know the best. A very good working relationship with those folks. That's the one I plan to go on. When I do go, probably not going to be 2025 at this point. Talking to them about getting on one of their Antarctica cruises. They have an amazing one that's a pole to pole. So the North Pole to South Pole. If I could, that's the one that I would do. So not yet. Christian, like my princess mug. This is from the Sky Princess. And this actually inspired the shirts that I have now, The Travel is to Live, which, by the way, that link tree, if you click my logo and you go into the link tree, there is a link to our store as well. And on YouTube, there's a link in the description. We do sell our shirts. We've got a bunch of different shirts in there that are ours, along with coffee thing. And plus, we've got a lot of designs from other designers. So we're supporting independent designers on there as well. So if you're interested in some fun cruise shirts, in fact, I got a new one that we came up with while we were on the last cruise. Designed it yet, but if you're interested in some fun cruise swag, check that out. So somebody's saying that they couldn't hear you, but your microphone's on. Yes, there are a lot of single traveler options, and I apologize. I pause my feed, so I make sure I try to answer every question. So yeah, Cindy over on YouTube, that Haven was so worth it. I can imagine. You get you got your butler service, you got your concierge, you got your lounge, you got your own restaurant, you got your own pool, you got your own area of the ship. So yeah, it is truly amazing that. So thank you, Jada. Please do reach out. Hey, Christy, happy day. How are you? The MSC Seascape. Well, we talked about the Seaside, so we've not been on the Seascape yet. We are looking forward to getting on the Seascape.
Yeah, but you've got Robotron, which I know you want to try.
I try Robotron. I absolutely want to get on Robotron and get flipped upside down and all that other stuff. You're totally going to see a video of me on Robotron when I go on that ship. I don't even want to be underneath Robotron. And if you look, there's like this awning that, let's just say, is in the spew zone. And I really don't want to be under that awning when the thing happens. So who is the YouTube person I just spoke about going on Alaska cruise?
Stephanie.
Oh, Stephanie. The Sean and Steph channel. I haven't seen yet. SEAN. Sean. Steph. STEF. Sean and Steph. I'll put a link in the tree. Stephanie is on the Norwegian Spirit. That's what her blog is. She did it last month. So it's her, Ben and David, and Pero DJ are all on the same ship. They're all good friends and really fun to watch. So she just started her blog. She's on part 3. 16 days in Spirit, Hawaii and Alaska. It's amazing. So, yeah. Hello, have I seen the Park 19 renderings on the Sun Princess? My thoughts. I think it's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. And here's why. And I've heard some pushback on it. Oh, God, they're turning into Carnival. They're not turning into Carnival at all. So 95% of that ship is still adult-centric. If you have looked the renderings of that ship, the dome, the piazza, the restaurant, the cabins, like everything about that ship. That new infinity pool on the back. Oh my God. So like 95% of that ship is still adult. Where Park 19 is, go up there on your next Princess cruise, the very next, and see how many people are up there. It's not that many people up there. It's pretty much a dead space. The area funnels are, and then behind the funnels, like you might have like the golfing thing. You're obviously at the sports court up there, but there's not a lot of activity happening up there. So it's kind of a dead space. So they took the dead space and Princess always had, they've always been family friendly. If you go all the way back to the Love Boat, there's kids on so many of those. So they've always been family friendly. They have, they're renowned as one of the best, children's programs in all of cruising. Their kids camps are supposed to be really good, especially up in Alaska.
Other than Disney.
Huh?
Other than Disney.
Other than Disney, obviously. I think this is just a natural extension of that family friend and family welcoming that Princess has been. They're giving the kids a few more things to do. There's things for adults to do too. I just saw the latest report from the Cruise Line International Association that millennials are actually the highest ranking people who will cruise again. Up to 8% who have cruised said that they will cruise again. So the cruising audience is starting to get young, a new generation coming out that wants a few more things to do on the ship. Besides, have that beautiful resort. Like, we even made the comment, we were hanging out on the 80. We were in Puerto Plata, and there was like 4 or 5 adults in the pool hanging out. Them said, I kind of wish there was a water slide on this ship because we can't get near them on Carnival or on Royal. Kids are all over them. And I was like, that would be kind of fun if we actually had something fun to do on that the kids normally take over. So I think it's a really good idea. It's much of the ship. It's all kept up really high. Also, if you look at it, this of the little kids out of the main pools, because some people complain, these little kids in diapers shouldn't be in the main pools, but they are.
Well,
they're not supposed to be. So, but this may even keep like some of the little kids away from the pools, and now they're running around in the splash area. So I think it's actually a really good thing, because now the adults may end up with quieter, areas, and the kids and all that stuff's going to be happening up top, where it's really not going to bother anybody. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's up top. So just enjoy the rest of the ship. I think it's fabulous. Fabulous. Let's see. Paul over here, you're flying overnight Barcelona for before your Virgin Voyages Western Mediterranean. Do I have a suggestion for the day? Well, obviously, what is it called? The Sagrada?
The Gaudi Church.
Gaudi Church. There's something Sagrada. That is the one big thing, Paul, that I would say you probably do while you're in Barcelona. Beyond that, I don't have anything on top of my head. Huh?
Eat some tapas.
Oh, eat some tapas. Eat lots of tapas. Yes. Rachel, can I talk about the Carnival Sunshine flooding situation? Water was in the hallways. I really can't a lot. Oh, what do you have? What does Rebecca have?
It was when storm was coming.
No, I know. I know what it was, but I don't really have much to say about it other than
just caused by a storm with winds and high surf.
Yeah, I mean, it was a real. So the thing about cruise ships that a lot of people don't realize, they can take a lot more than what we're used to, right? These ships are made to cross the Atlantic. They're actually a beating. They don't want to, because they don't want to make it uncomfortable for us, but they can sail into rough stuff if needed. And in this case, the captain made a decision, or somebody made a decision, that they're going to try to get into port. I mean, the ship was just trying to get into port, and then she turned around and headed back out. She took a lot of rough pounding, so some water got in. That's really all I can say about it.
And I will say, just from our experience on the Sun Princess, it's amazing how quickly they can get flooding cleaned up.
They actually had flooding on the Sun Princess. They had a water main break in the piazza, like above the piazza, right below the pool. They had a big water main break that apparently flooded the piazza area the day before we got. And so the first 3 or 4 days we were on the ship, they had blowers running. They pulled up some car, pulled up some tile, things like that, and they got it all cleaned up. But they kept right on going. I mean, that will happen. It's a storm. So when storm on a ship, things can happen. And if you go back even before the pandemic, there are some transatlantic crossing where you're going to see chairs and tables just slide this way, and then they slide this way because the ship is just doing things. So, we're so used to, we're like, oh my God, the ship is like doing all this. They're going through a storm. They're doing this. Well, sometimes they have to. They don't want to, but sometimes they have to. They want to keep us as comfortable as possible, but the ship itself can take a lot more beating than what we expect. And from my understanding, most of that flooding was in the hallways, but it was in the crew areas. It was not actually in passenger.
I didn't see.
I think most of it was actually in the crew area, not the passenger area. So you're welcome, Rob. How is the MSC Meraviglia? Have not been on a Meraviglia yet. So she was getting really good reviews when she first launched because they stacked it with the best crew. Lately, I've been seeing mixed reviews again. Some people liking the food, not liking the food. Now, again, before we went on the MSC Seaside, that ship was getting tons of negative reviews. She had the bad score from, a 67 from a CDC. We saw all that negative stuff, and we had some trepidation going on. When we went on, we had a good time. So you have to take the reviews with a grain of salt. So
and bear in mind that food is such a subjective thing.
Yeah. I want to take a look at one thing. Check. Yep. No, your microphone's fine. Yeah.
I'm better than you, but I can hear it.
Sarah's taking her first cruise. User on a Carnival ship going for New Year's Eve out of Galveston. That's going to be the Jubilee. It's a Jubilee there? Yeah, I think she'll be there for New Year's Eve. That's the Jubilee. So she hasn't launched yet, but she will be over there. I believe New Year's Eve is her first cruise, or right around there is her first cruise. So we've got folks booked on her in March. What a great ship. Have you seen the renderings? I mean, currents. I love that Carnival has that class. You know, they didn't just build the exact same ship all 3 times. That was the French Quarter, became I think it was the Gateway on the Celebration, coming current on the Jubilee. I think the Jubilee is the prettiest of the 3. I really do. I love what they've done with that whole area. And the Dr. Ink's bar, drinks bar, be a lot of fun. So that's all I can tell you. I mean, as far as I know, she's still on time. She's still on schedule. They have not any cruises. So as far as we know, she's still on time. So Sarah, you're taking your first cruise at November. Cheers. Kristen, NCL pricing seems really good. What are my thoughts? I mean, it's hard to say because every single cruise is priced differently. And I don't know what your pricing against other things.
And
so
everybody has a different opinion.
Yeah,
on what pricing is.
The different opinion about everything. And the thing is, you got to look at the value, right? So what we were just talking about, MSC, you're going to pay a lot less on MSC, and you may not get all the things that you're used to. You may not get the quality of the things that you're expecting in cases, but you paid a lot less. And NCL, you're going to pay a little bit more. I think experience, certainly the shows are better on NCL. So there's value. I think a lot of people get hung up just on that bottom line. Like, I'm going to pay $500 for this cruise. Then I'm going to come out because I didn't get everything I wanted. It's like, well, because you didn't go on the right ship. You didn't book the right cruise line. Never book a cruise just based on price, unless you literally just plan to, hang out on the ship and do nothing all, just want to get away. Fine, go with the lowest price. But if you want a really good cruise vacation, you don't just go with the price. You go, well, who's going to give me the best value? Because sometimes spending $500 or $800 more, say on a Virgin Voyages cruise, food's included, gratuities included, Wi-Fi is included, soft drinks are included. Maybe that's a better value than saving $800 somewhere else, and then you're going to spend, $1,500 on food, drink, ding, all this other stuff. So yeah. Oh, Shannon, you're kind. Thank you so much. We try to be nice people. Have we Adventure of the Seas? Sarah is asking. We've been on the Mariner of the Seas, which is a sister ship. Loved it. I think that is my favorite class of ship, Royal Caribbean. I like it more than the Freedom class. So there's the Voyager class, there's the Freedom class, and then you go up to the Oasis class. So that is like my favorite. It's just a great size of a ship. The Mariner had the bamboo bar. I don't know if the Adventure does, but the Mariner had the bamboo bar, which was one of my favorite bars. I drink so much because I talk about bars. I like a good drink. So when I talk about a really good bar on a ship, I mean really good drink. I might only get one drink a day, but I'm going to go to that bar and I'm going to pay for that drink. It's a great size ship. You've got the skating rink, you've got the flow rider, you've got the excellent shows up front, you've got a bunch of lounges throughout the ship that are going to be having performers in the evenings, and you got the promenade out there. That class of ship, and I think the junior suite on that ship is one of the best values out there. On that class of ship is one of the best values out there. Royal Caribbean Junior Suite overall, I think it's a really good value because you get such a larger cabin. Yeah, sometimes it can be maybe twice as much, but it always. We had a junior suite on Symphony of Seas. We've had one on the Mariner. Actually, we had it on the Mariner. The cabins, they're really, really nice. So yeah, I think Adventure of the Sea would be great. Oh, Kristen's asking about Galapagos. Absolutely. I mean, the Flora was custom built specifically for Galapagos. You've got, what's the one that the X?
There are a couple more.
Yeah, there's like 2 more down there as well, but Celebrity custom built the Flora. But in Galapagos, I would also look at Hurtigruten for sure. Hurtigruten has custom for down there as well. So probably Celebrity Hurtigruten, what I'd be looking at. So you're welcome, Teacher Mama. Is Bad Haven Suite worth trying a bit upgrade? As far as I know, no. I think the Haven, I have a Bad Haven cabin. So anybody else?
The thing you would just have to look at is look at the decks and see what's above and below those cabins.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's much above them.
Yeah. Kristen, Princess is mainly for adults. I would disagree with that. I mean, it's adult centric, but it has been very family friendly right from the beginning. And you will see more kids on Princess, for example, we'll say on Holland America or Celebrity, just because their kids program is so well known. And now with Park 19, they're leaning a little bit more into the family. So that's really nice. So Samuel over on YouTube, Carnival Jubilee, maybe third time really is. Tell you what, Samuel, I really like the Jubilee. I mean, she's a beautiful. We had a great time on Mardi Gras. I highly recommend the extended balconies. We were on 12, I think it was, and we had the extended balcony. That was lovely. Recommend that. So yeah, maybe. Desiree, super sticker. Really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for all your support. You've been around with us for a long time, so we do appreciate that. Cindy, who was just on in the Haven, says there's no bad cabin. There's no bad Haven cabin. You get the perks no matter which cabin you're in. According to Cindy, who was just on it for her birthday, there is no bad cabin. Is there a pool on MSC's island? No, there is not. The lagoon is sort of kind of like a pool because it's very protected, very flat water, smooth sand on both sides. So it's sort of kind of like a natural pool. Closed loop cruises. Children without passport just need a birth certificate.
If they're under 16. Or,
yeah. Under 16, over 16, they will need, they should have a passport. Actually, over 16. I guess they can get a learner's permit. Can they get a license?
You'd have to.
We'd have to look at the FAQ. Yeah.
Under 16, they're not required to have a photo ID.
Yeah. That's great. So under 16, definitely birth certificate. It's that area between 16 and 18 because they say a birth certificate and a driver's license. So we would just have to look at the FAQ based on the specific age, child, and which cruise line you're going on. So. Rob, did I answer how to MSC Meraviglia? We haven't been on the MSC Meraviglia yet, Rob. So I've just seen the reviews. The reviews were excellent when they first came out, and then they've gotten mixed, but you just have to go on yourself. There are definitely enough things for Prince. It just seems like Royal has more. Well, of course, because Royal Caribbean is a family cruise line. I mean, they had built specifically, you got water slides, you got ice skating, you got flow riders, you got all these things to do. They are a cruise line, whereas Princess is a family-friendly cruise line. You can come on, you can bring your kids on it, and they have amazing kids club. You really can't compare Royal Caribbean and Princess, two completely different experiences. Any tips on the seas? So that's one of the small ones, isn't it? I think the Grandeur is one of the like the Vision class something. Yeah, thank you, Desiree. Really appreciate it.
So many classes of ships.
Yeah, I think the Grand, one of the small ones. We saw the Vision. We were on Symphony of the Seas, and the Vision was now the Vision is like the smallest ship that they have, and Symphony is one of the largest that they have. And I took a picture of it. It literally looked like I photoshopped the Symphony of the Seas because it was so freakishly large. Vision. Now, what Royal Caribbean has really leaned into with those smaller ships is they've made them a more adult-centric. They really leaned into some interesting itineraries on those ships. So those have, obviously, the water slides and all the things up on the top deck. So they've started creating some really itineraries for those ships. So I've not been on. When I saw the Vision, I was like, I really want to go on that ship. I want to see what it's all about. So we have not been on it. Not booked a client on the smaller one yet. I think we've only booked on like the Voyager class and up, but it looks like a beautiful ship. I mean, it looks like a lot of fun. It's going to be an adult Royal Caribbean experience, I think is really what it's going to be. Matthew, as a travel agent, can I sell plane tickets in partnership with the Mediterranean Cruises? Absolutely. So we are an independent travel agent. So I'll give you one example. We have a client that is on a celebrity cruise. We actually put a 10-day land tour around that. The bulk of the beginning, but from the time they take off in Las Vegas until the time they come back, we've actually got a whole tour all planned out for them. And we can, book flights, we can book hotels, we can go ahead and get tours, we can give you private, we even have access to private jets now. I just found out, just go. We, our travel consortium partnered up with private jets. And so if you want to take a private jet somewhere, we get that up now, apparently. And that's like the coolest thing. So what do you think, Rebecca? Take a private jet over to the Med when we go?
Sure.
Do that for $200 a person. But yeah, so absolutely, to answer your question, 1000%, we can help you absolutely everything. So, hey, Joy. For Joy's over on YouTube, she's going to meet Richard Branson. She's going to be on the Richard Branson cruise in August. If you didn't hear us talk about it before, Virgin is selling 50 years of selling. Virgin is celebrating 50 years as a company with a special cruise, August 27th from Greece on the Resilience. Richard Branson and other company officials are going to be on the ship for the entire week. They're going to do fireside chats. There's special entertainment. There's going to be special events. Yes, Richard will be there. Joy booked, and she's going to be on that cruise. And in fact, we got her all set up with the hotels and everything over there. So yay! Nurse Tara says she's considering sailing on a Vision because it sails out of Baltimore. Yeah, really awesome. That is really awesome. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't do. We talk about New York, Florida, and Texas, and even in LA a lot, but Baltimore, you've got sometimes Charleston, if they're still doing Charleston. We've got New Orleans. We've got sometimes Mobile, Alabama. So there's other places that you can cruise out of besides the big port. Now, you are going to get the smaller ship. You do that, but that's not always a bad thing. So yes, Branson would be using to hang out with Nurse Tara, but it's not always a bad thing that you're not getting the biggest ship. The older ships are great. Kimberly, you just got back from Celebrity Equinox. We were correct that they have good Indian food. I'm glad the Indian food has held up. Hope you did the glass blowing while you were on there. It's one of the coolest things to do. Kristen, what ship is our favorite? Don't have one I'm on. I actually sell that shirt. I've said that for years, so I finally made the shirt. My favorite ship is the one right now. It's a very sad time because I'm not on. Well, I guess this is my favorite ship right now because it's right here in front of me. I don't have a favorite ship, and that's the God's honest truth, because we go on different cruises for different things. If I want to have a lot of activities and a lot of things to do, then we're going to go lean into Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, now MSC. Now that we know about it, Disney certainly. If I want a more adult-centric experience, Disney, Virgin Voyages, Celebrity, Princess, Holland America. So we pick the cruise and the cruise line for unless we're doing research. Like MSC was literally research because we're travel agents now. We needed to get on the ship ourselves, see what it was all about. But when we're actually picking ship for ourselves, we're like, well, what do we do? Sometimes it's just because we want to see the new ship. Oh, let's go see the new ship. So I don't have a favorite cruise line and a favorite ship as of right now. So you're welcome, Rob. Bridget's going on the Jubilee January 20th. Yes, awesome. I cannot wait to see what that is all about. I hope that ship is awesome. So Joy said you don't care. You could care less about Branson. I guess that's a good attitude. He's been a hero of mine for a long time. I was very fortunate that when I first started my career, I worked for Ted, and I learned a lot from Ted. Ted was like the best boss ever, and reminds me a lot of him. So I would love to spend some time with Richard at some point. But she's excited about the celebration. Nurse Tara, Joy has invited you to go along too. Nurse Tara, you should go. You should go. Joy is the most fun I think I've ever had talking to anybody on the phone. Joy, you are an absolute, do not change. Please never change. And please remain our client for a long time because I love talking to you. Let's see. Have we been on a cruise through Texas? Not yet, but the Jubilee is definitely out there. I want to go to Galveston, and I really want to see. That's true. We were to, and then COVID hit. But we had the Jewel of the Seas booked for both Christmas and New Year's nights, 11 nights, something like that.
10 or 11.
It was going to be both Christmas and New Year's on the ship, and then COVID came, so we did. But we want to. Obviously, Royal Caribbean has built up their terminal. I think MSC is building one. Carnival, I think, is expanding one or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff happening in Galveston. We definitely want to do it. Matthew, Anthem for 11 days in the Southern Caribbean. Nice. Nice. Those extended cruises are real. We now, 7 days isn't enough anymore. Now we get to the end of the week and it feels like a 3-day cruise. It's like, oh, we got to be on here longer. So instead, we want to start doing 10s and 14s ourselves. So that's awesome, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. You're welcome, Sarah. Have a great rest of your Sunday as well. You're welcome, Kristen. Yeah, there's a lot of great Galapagos stuff out there. Do I know if there are Haven handicap?
I think there may be a
few. Not that many.
But in general, the Haven cabins are going to be larger than a standard cabin.
Yeah.
So if you can do some walking,
yes,
that may be enough.
Depending on like how you need the bathroom configured.
Yes.
Like some people can actually, they can walk into a bathroom, into a shower. So if you can do things like that, that opens up more cabin. If you need a fully like a bathroom, roll-in shower, there's not going to be that many in the Haven. And of course, that also depends on the ship, which ship we're talking about. So
the older ships don't even have a Haven.
Yeah, they don't even have a Haven. So if you want to reach out, we can talk about specific ships and specific sailings you want to go on. Look.
And what your particular needs are for the accessible cabin.
Yes. Question from Nurse Tara on YouTube. Can a booking be transferred to us if you book through a company site? If you book directly with the cruise line, depending on the cruise line, you have 60 days to transfer it to us. Most of the cruise lines is 30 days. So from the day you book, you have 15 to 60 days to actually tell the cruise line, I want to transfer to this agent. If you booked it through a travel agent, you don't transfer it. You leave it with that travel agent. But it through the cruise line itself, yes. And you just reach out to us. Each cruise line does it differently. As you need information, like if you want to transfer it from us, or if you want to transfer it to a different agency that you're working with an agent right now, there's some information you're going to need from them in order to make the transfer. So just reach out to the agent that you want to transfer to. They'll give you the information. In fact, we'll give you the link or the paperwork or whatever and all of that. That question, Nurse Tara, but yes, that is a big thing you can do. You transfer it to us. Or what's really cool about that, you're on the cruise and you book another cruise, it will automatically be assigned to us as well. In addition to that, we have a self-book link. So if you go to where'swaltertravel.com, you can book directly on Virgin Voyages. You can book directly on Booking, for example. I think you can even book yourself on the Icon of the Seas, and the bookings will go through us. We can help you out with it and do whatever you need with the booking as well. So yeah, so there's also links. There's also links there. Yeah, Nurse Tara, some people do things that spur of the moment. So if you just see something, I got to, and you can just simply transfer it over. So yeah, that's great, Nurse Tara. Thank you so much for asking. Any tips for Alaska cruise in August? So we've talked about it a few times. You have a TikTok on it, but the most important thing is layers. You got to have layers because you may get off the ship in August. You may get off the ship and it might be like in the low 50s, like 40s or 50s in the morning, and then 70s in the afternoon. And off the ship, you need to be prepared to take off some of those layers, or you're just going to die out there. The second is to get the 3-in-1 jacket. I can't stress that 3-in-1 jacket enough because it's the only jacket in Alaska. Some people are like, I'm going to bring a lighter jacket for when it's warm. I'm going to bring a heavy jacket for when it's cold. This is it. This is just one jacket. You got a liner, you got an inner liner, you got the outer slicker and rain slicker. You put them together. It's a really warm jacket. You take them apart. You've just got a warmer, or you've got the warmer inner liner. I can't stress that enough. And then, of course, your feet are probably going to get wet. It does rain a lot in Alaska, so you want to have good waterproof shoes. Sure. Comfortable hiking. Keep in mind there's a lot of uneven surfaces up in, especially if you're going to go off and doing some hiking and some excursions and things like that. So, yeah, you definitely want to have really good shoes. Sarah, you're going to be on the Independence of the Seas a week Monday, quick 4-day cruise. Yes, let's wish for good weather. But you know what? Who cares? Even if it rains, who cares? You're going to be inside. You're going to have time on a ship. In the Caribbean, when it rains, it actually feels good.
Especially this time of year.
Especially here. Jennifer, you're doing a Southern Caribbean on Rhapsody. Yes. very nice, small ship, but you love the itinerary. I really like what we're doing with the smaller ships now. They really, and a lot of them, you know, you look at Princess, you look at Holland, America. If you've not looked at their itineraries, if you're like retired or you've got time, you can cruise to Africa from Lauderdale, round trip. Yeah, it's a 73-day cruise, but literally it's a round trip. It's a Europe round trip from Boston. So, I mean, the cruise lines are really with some really interesting itineraries these days that are not the standard, you know, 10-day, 14-day, 21. The Royal Caribbean is doing some really cool things with these smaller ships, sending them out on some interesting itineraries. That's going to be great. I hope you have a great time, Jennifer. Kimberly, you didn't do the glass blowing. Oh, but next time, yeah, definitely. So if you don't know, there are 3 cruise ships Celebrity to have honest to goodness glass blowing on the ships right behind the funnel, and it's all electric, so there's no, and you can do glass blowing. I mean, obviously you're working with the professionals. You're going to do some minor blowing on the glass and maybe shaping a little bit.
You get to pick the colors.
You get to pick the colors. You get to pick what you're going to make. I say when we did it, there were like 10 different things we could have made. I think there's a few more now, and you're going to make an goodness piece of glass to bring home. We have tumblers that we made that I will drink old fashions out of. It is the Eclipse, the Solstice, and the Equinox. Those 3 ships have honest glass blowing. Talk about a cool experience on a freaking cool on a cruise ship would be amazing. So, yeah, there's Tara, right? Round trip Egypt would be great. I mean, what I think America said coming out of the pandemic, there were a lot, especially, you know, middle age, older Americans didn't want to fly to Europe. You know, they were still concerned about flying to Europe, getting on a plane. So there are these cruises that go out that are literally a closed loop from America, go to all of these other countries. They're absolutely amazing. So yeah, so you need to take a look at some of that stuff too. Let's see, what was our first cruise together? Oh, that would be the Caribbean Princess. So Rebecca still does. I think we both do. The Love Boat.
I realize it's bad TV, but it's fun, cheesy bad TV.
Yeah, cheesy bad TV, you know? And so our first cruise had to be on so we were on the Caribbean Princess. And not only were we on the Caribbean Princess, we did 14 days back. I didn't want to take the cruise. In fact, at one point I said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go. I think I'm just going to stay home. And believe it, yeah, here I am, right? Here I am, Mr. Cruise, and I'm selling cruises, and you all should go on a cruise. I go on my first cruise. And that was 2006. And Rebecca basically gave me an offer and said, I'm going on the cruise, with or without you. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll go. And we had an aft cabin, and thank God we had that aft cabin, because I love that aft cabin. So that's the one that looked at the wake. And the 3rd day into the cruise, we booked our second cruise. In fact, we may have booked 2 cruises while we were on there. First 3 cruises were all on Princess, and then we started spreading out. But we've been on 5 times now. Our most recent, the Sky Princess, a couple of months ago. But that was the first cruise. And now the Caribbean is coming up here to Port Canaveral next year. And we just may have to go on her just because, you know, our very first one. I might have to go back and relive some memories.
And Port Canaveral's close.
Yeah. How much are his guided tours? I'm sorry, I'm not sure who his is. So if you want to just ask it again and remind me you're asking about, I'll be glad to answer the question. Barbara, oh, Jada, you live near Corning. Ah, very nice. In fact, it used to be the Corning glass demonstration. We didn't actually get to do the glass blowing for the longest time. It's just in the past year or so that they've added it.
Companies. It was Corning, now it's Hollywood Hot Glass.
Yeah, it's no longer Corning, which is kind of sad in a way, because
those were talented people.
Oh my God, the stuff that those we happened to see one of our cruises, we had women on there, three female glass blowers that were amazing. But now it's so that's pretty cool that you live near Corning. Barbara, how far in advance do we contact our vacation? As soon as you know you want to start talking about it. I mean, we have clients that are booked out to 2025. So obviously, the earlier you book something, there's all kinds of incentives to book. Like we've got land tours in Ireland right now. I think they're $300 to $500 off if you book now for the 2024 tours. Because we're looking to do Ireland and Scotland for like 14 or 15 days. $300 to $500 off if for 2024. There's stuff in 2025. Book now, you get a discount. So as soon as you know that you want walking, just as soon as you know you want to take a trip, just reach out and we'll just start the conversation.
And even if the particular thing you want hasn't been released yet, we can at least information. Then when it is released, we'll start looking around for you.
Yeah, such as so 2 great examples of that. We had one client wanted to book in Disney World in 2024. We talked about it, I don't even know, like 6 months ago or so. And so we already knew, we were keeping an eye out. And when Disney announced, hey, the next set of bookings are coming up, we contacted them, said, okay, the bookings up, let's finalize the plans now. What do you want? Because we're going to go in there the day it opens up and we're going to resort. And then these tours in Ireland and Scotland, we talked about it, I don't know, about 4 or 5 months ago, and they just opened up about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the September tours. It's good to talk about it in advance because then we can put it on our calendar or put it in our notes that, hey, keep an eye out for whatever it is that's going to open up, and then be Johnny on the spot, one of the first people to jump in there and book. So which cruise line is the best for the Panama Canal? It all depends on what you're looking for on the ship, to be honest with you. A lot of them do it. We had an interesting conversation with the folks on the Scarlet Lady that the reason why the Virgin Voyage can't go through is because the lifeboats hang over the side of the ship, so they can't go through. And there was talk that when Scarlet Lady goes in for her dry dock, they're going to change the mechanism so they can actually lift the lifeboat straight up over the dock, so she can go through, because Virgin Voyages needs to get out to LA sooner than later. So it depends on what you're looking for from a ship. It also depends on what you're looking for from the itinerary. In fact, I'm having a conversation with Becky and her family in just a little while. They want to be in Costa Rica on a particular day because they want to celebrate a birthday with the sloth. So they're like, I want to be there. So there's one particular cruise that does it. It depends on which going and what your itinerary is that you want, but
and
so many of them do it.
Full or partial.
Yeah, do you want a full or a partial? So I mean, we did it on Princess. We had a great time. It was either the island or the
island.
It was the Island Princess, yeah, which is the one actually we're going to be talking to Becky about. But the Island Princess, there is no best cruise line for the Panama Canal. It's which ship, and it's best for the time of year you want to go, the direction you want to go, and whether you're doing a full or a partial. I mean, I know it's a wishy-washy answer, but there really isn't a best one for Panama Canal because so many of them do. It's really, again, we try to pair you up with the best ship, not with the best cruise line. Because all the cruise lines are great. Lines are annoying, It really is. Every single cruise line is great. Every single cruise line is annoying. No perfect cruise line. We just try to match you up with the best possible vacation that you're going. That just comes down to date, itinerary, and what ships are available. Because there's only going to be so many available during that time frame. We have to take a look at what's available and go, okay, of these 5 ships that are due, which one do we want to put it on? And we'll usually present 2, maybe 3 of them to you. So I know it's kind of a mushy answer, but Desiree, how much would charge for a 8 Caribbean cruise during March single traveler? Desiree, there's no answer for that. I don't know which cruise line. I don't know which ship you're going to go on. Are you going to go into a solo cabin? Are you going to go into a double occupancy and pay the single supplement? Where are you sailing from? Where are we sailing to?
Which week in March?
Yeah, which week in March? Because March, you're getting into spring break. So prices start to go up in March. So there is no, so we would need to have a conversation in order for me to answer that question. Because there's, again, what ships are available out of the ports that you want to sail out of make a big difference too. So I know it's a terrible answer, but there is no standard price. It could be 500. Well, probably not going to be 500 anymore, but it could be 850. It could be, 4,000. Just depends on what cruise line, what experience, and everything that you want to do. And I get that question a lot. Hey, Walt, how much is it for a 3-night cruise in the Caribbean? I don't know. What ship do you want to go on? I don't know. Do you want the drink package? I don't know. So there's like a lot of questions that we need to answer before we can just provide an answer like that. Jada, your first cruise, one stop was Caracas? Amazing glass shop. Oh, wow. I bet that was amazing. Thank you for sharing, JD. That is awesome. Best time of the year for a cruise?
Predominantly, it's going most
like
of the cruise lines is going to do it, say, April until October, November.
Yeah, and it, it depends where in the Caribbean you want to go, how big of a ship you want to go on. Huh?
Mediterranean.
No, where? But Mediterranean is big.
Yeah, you said Caribbean.
Oh, did I say Caribbean? I'm so sorry. Yeah, where in the Med you want to start? Because like you can even start up in England. Like you can start in Southampton and come on in to the Med and do a big old trip and go back up to Southampton, or you can do one way. Start at Southampton, you end up in Barcelona or Rome or something like that. So there's a lot of ways to do the Med. Obviously, summertime is hot. So if you don't want it to be too hot, you could try going in the beginning or the end of the season. If you're going to go on an American-based cruise line, obviously P&O is over, MSC is over there, Costa is over there. So there are cruise lines that are around doing cruises. But if you're talking about the American-based cruise lines, that, like she said, April to October, although even as late as December, because we just found that out. We found out, this is really cool, you can take a Christmas marketplace river cruise. You can do a transatlantic back to Florida as late as December. We found one ship that comes back in December. So, so for the most part, though, April to October is when all of the ships are there, and then October they come back to Florida.
And usually July, August are going to be not only the hottest, but also the most expensive.
Yeah.
So if you don't have children and times to be worried about, I would probably do either beginning or end of the season.
Yeah, that'll be a lot. So you're welcome, Desiree. Hey, just reach out. We'd be happy to talk to you and see what we can find. One of the biggest things that I think I've talked about it a few times, like I said, Royal Caribbean, I have a list of, I think, well over 200 cabins that are available that are solo single traveler cabins across the fleet that they don't really talk about. You never hear Caribbean talking about, hey, we have single cabins. They never talk about it, but they have well over 200 cabins on our list that are specifically single solo cabins on the Royal Caribbean. And in fact, the Quantum class, I believe, is the one that has the most. So yeah, to reach out, we'd be happy to talk about it. Cabin Life, you're going in October. Nice. Syndicate Knives, I like that. Going on the Wonder of His October 1st cruise. Your first cruise ever. Wow. Boy, your first cruise ever. You picked a really small ship for that one. I mean, that ship is going to be sensory overload. I think it's going to be amazing. We saw her on the, we were on the MSCC side, and the Wonder was sitting over there. Now, we've been on the Symphony, which is a sister ship. Oh, my God. And you've never seen a ship in person? Good Lord. So we booked one of our dear friends. Now she's a moderator on our Facebook page. Christy, you've seen her pop up from time to time. We family on their first cruise, and we put them on either the Liberty or the Independence. I always get it confused as to which of those it was, but their sister ship. She'd never seen a cruise ship up close either. And she's texting me from the park, oh my God, this thing is huge. Well, your ship is twice as big as the one she went on. It's a big ship. You're going to be like, oh my God. So my best advice is your very first cruise. This is amazing. When you get on the Wonder of the Seas, you might be hungry. Go get yourself. Maybe avoid the main buffet, the Windjammer. Maybe go see if the bistro is open. The Solarium Bistro is open because it's going to be smaller. But then just take a walk. Walk the ship. Walk the main parts of the ship. You're going to have the promenade. You're going to have boardwalk. You're going to have Central Park. I mean, it's going to be overwhelming. Then go up to the top. Walk for decks.
She's right. Specialty dining reservations first. Absolutely.
Yes, specialty dining. Yes. So this ship is something like 200 feet wide. There's no other ship that is that. That's what makes the Oasis class so big. It's not that they're longer. All the ships are about the same length. They're all over 1,000 feet long. But most of the ships are around 120 feet wide. This one's 200 feet wide, so it's double the width. And that's why it looks so freakishly large when you see it next to another ship. Literally, when you take a picture, you straight on of the Wonder of the Seas next to another ship, if you get a chance, just look at your picture. Oh my God, it looks like I photoshopped it because it's just like, but take your time to walk around the ship. As far as what to try next.
Honestly, I would probably wait till
go on the ship.
Go on there, and then figure out what you like, what you don't like, And then we could probably have some better suggestions based on that.
Exactly, because there's food consideration, there's entertainment consideration, there's cabin, cabin itself. Go on the ship, and then seriously reach out to us afterward, and let's talk about what you liked, didn't like, and once again, it's not necessarily the line, because there might be another Royal Caribbean ship that you don't know about that we can on, or we'll just figure out which ship, maybe Virgin Voyages, maybe Disney, maybe Norwegian, I don't know. But go on the ship first. Get your first cruise. Don't be already planning the second one. Get your first one down, because you're going to be surprised by a lot of things. You're going to be, oh, I didn't know that was included. Oh, I didn't know that wasn't included. Like that. And just get it down and figure out what you like and don't like. Like that is like the ultimate first ship to go on, because it has everything. Literally, I don't know much that's not, except the skydiving. The skydiving's not on there, and the bumper cars aren't on there. Pretty much everything else is on that ship. So I will say one of my favorite spots on the ship is Central Park, especially at night. But even during the day, a great breakfast spot is cafe in Central Park, because again, the Windjammer is going to be the buffet, and Jammer is actually a good name for it, because there will be a lot of people. Now, we never had problems finding a seat up there. It was crowded, but cafe down in Central Park has great light breakfasts down there. So if you just want to avoid them of the buffet that can be in the morning, go into Central Park and go to Park Cafe and see if you like what they're offering down there, or go to the Solarium
And the
Bistro.
other nice thing is that it's also a spot where they have some of their Coke Freestyle machines.
Yes.
So if you have a drink package and you have the Freestyle cup, you can go to Park Cafe, and it will be less crowded.
So we don't get the drinks package on Royal Caribbean, because it's one of the more expensive ones out there. But what we do get is what's called the refresh package. So that drinks, your mocktails, and most importantly for me, the specialty coffees. So they're going to give you an RFID chip in it. You just put it in the Freestyle machine, and you can get as much water, soda, drinks, whatever else is in there, tea, for free for the entire cruise. So I highly recommend that if you don't drink that much, but you still want something. So you just got off the Mardi Gras this morning, easiest debark ever. Well, we had a pain in the butt debark. And once we finally did it, it was easy, but we did self-disembark. And for what reason, Royal Caribbean or Carnival said, we're going to do it by muster station. We were like, muster station? Usually, at 7 o'clock or 7:30, whenever they open it up, self-disembark, just get off the ship, get out so we can get on with everybody else. It was 8:30 in the morning, and we're still sitting there. And I finally wrote to Stephanie, what I talked about here, and she's like, just get off the ship, go. And so we did. But once we went, it was easy. So so for those of you who are going to self-disembark, my own suggestion, if you're on the Mardi Gras or any of the Carnival ship there, and they say they're going to do it by muster station, when you hear them call out that first, just go. They did not check. They did not check. So they just went.
What's the worst that can happen? They check and they say wait.
Yeah, Syndicate Knives, there is a lot of info, which is why I love book. We actually have an 11-page PDF that we send to our that are doing their first cruise. So because we've been cruising almost 20 years, and we've kind of put together a whole PDF of what you need to know for your first cruise, and that takes care of most of their questions. And then with a lot of clients, actually set up like a 1-hour call with them just to talk through, have them ask us all the questions, and we just give them all the answers. Part of why we've always worked with travel agents before we became travel agents ourselves. We could just call them and ask questions. That's what we're here for. We're a personal travel concierge. You don't pay for any of that. That's just value add as part of us being a concierge, helping you get the best vacation possible. And it's asking what kind of music is played in the clubs on Virgin. That depends on who's on the ship that week. The amazing performers. So we saw Slam Adams the first time we were on the ship. Amazing blues guitars. I mean, amazing blues guitars. The Resilient now. I think I saw that he was over in Europe right now. When we were just on Scarlet, like 2 months ago now, I think, amazing Latin trio, which was like the headliner. And then they have their own band. They have other music. They have all kinds. So they have different music throughout the ship. But there's going to be like one kind of like almost like a head act that's going to be the predominant music throughout the week. There was also that guy who was the guitarist. He was like every. So there is a lot of live music on the Virgin ship at night.
Even though I tend it too loud, I will say it sounds good. Loud. but good.
Virgin probably has the best sound of any cruise line out there, no matter how loud it gets, which it should. I talked to one of the sound techs. You'll see the sound tech. They've got like the iPad, and they're just sitting there like standing there, just running the audio from the iPad. And I ended up talking to one of them for about an hour, and he said, concert designers were here. They designed all of the music spaces on the ship, the primary music spaces, and you can tell even like in On the Rocks, when you're sitting in On the Rocks, which is just an open bar, it sounds really good in there. I mean, it sounds at a live concert hall, no matter where. And the Red Room can get loud, but it sounds fabulous. I think it's overdriven. Where like, compared that to MSC that we were just on, it was actually too loud to the point of being overdriven. Like somebody was like really wanting to push it hard. They don't do that on Virgin. They give you good quality sound. So
although if you are sensitive to loud, I would bring earplugs just because it sounds great. It can be loud if you're sensitive. Yeah,
and Scarlet Night is stupid. It's amazing. It's amazing. Chambers is asking what's the best time to check in for a Carnival cruise. I mean, as soon as it opened, this Carnival opened. Do you remember offhand? God, they're all different.
It's changed.
Yeah, they're all different. So it's hard to keep up because they're like literally I wish every cruise line would just like standardize the stuff. Hey, 45 days for your cruise, you check in. Like, no, we're going to do it this way. They're going to do it that way. They're going to do it that way. Just like all the booking engines. So as soon as it opens, I'll tell you that.
We did it in March of 2022. It was 2 weeks beforehand.
Okay. So it was 2 weeks.
But I don't know what it is these days.
Yeah, I can't remember what they and then like America actually assigns it for you.
Yeah.
So
at MSC too.
So as soon as you can. As soon as you can. So you've got the drink package. So Syndicate Knives, when you're done with the cruise, and see if you actually got your money's worth out of it. That's what we tell everybody. A lot of people will just get the drink package, assuming that's going to be but sometimes you end up just giving away money to the cruise line because you didn't even come close to using it. So do the math when you get offers. You did self-assist. You waited till 8 a.m. Cool. We did it on the MSCC side. This is really funny on the MSCC side. I love what they did on the seaside. They made no announcement. It was 7:10 in the morning, and we knew that around 7:30 they were going to open up. So we got on the elevator and we went down, and when we got to the lobby, they were already letting people off with no announcement. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like the people who here, we're just going to let them off quiet. Let's get as many people off as we can before we make an announcement, and then everybody starts jamming down. Kudos to MSC. So there's a tip. If you're on the MSCC side, around 7 a.m., they're going to open the checkout for those of you who are self-disembarking. Just get off the ship. That's cool. You got the key package just to be able to board early. Nice. That's what we did. So the key package is, that is something that kind of gives you kind of suite level perks. Some of the perks of being in a suite, like you get priority embarkation, you get the Wi-Fi package. I will say, Syndicate Knives, on the Symphony, the lunch was not worth it. It was not great. They say it's a chopped grill lunch that they serve in the MDR, the main dining room lunch. It's not that great.
I mean, what's the worst can happen? You eat, you don't care for it.
Yeah, if you don't go to the buffet.
Yeah.
So you can sit down there. But I will say it wasn't
honestly,
the best.
My favorite part was just being able to off your carry-on luggage.
Yes, that's the best part.
As soon as you got on board.
Yeah, because most of it, you got to lug that carry-on around with you, but you don't have to with that. So yeah, that's so exciting. So exciting. So, all right, folks. It is 12 o'clock Eastern time, and I'm going at this for 90 minutes, and I know I've got appointments coming up for the rest of the day. So if you have any more questions, drop them in the comments, drop them in. Oh, yeah, you got an XL balcony. Awesome, awesome. We do this every Sunday morning at 10:30. We also do a live on YouTube only at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Right now, we're lining up some folks to join us. We got Virgin Voyages coming on, MSC, Royal Caribbean's coming on, American Cruise Line is coming on, DCL Duo. They blog, write, and do everything Disney Cruise Line. That's going to be on YouTube, 8:30 p.m. Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time Thursday night. So if you enjoy what we're doing here, also on TikTok, and of course we do the simulcast on YouTube Sunday morning. But over on our YouTube channel, Where's Walter Travel, we do Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm trying to line up more guests so we can just not just me blabbing away. And we got some folks from England coming on shortly as well. So thank you so much for joining us. We're here every Sunday morning at 10:30 in the morning on TikTok, and now the simulcast over on YouTube. So we thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day wherever you are in this amazing world. Let's see if I can get, there we go. Wherever you are in this amazing world. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Thank you to the YouTube audience for joining in. Thank you to the TikTok audience for joining. So wherever you are in this amazing world, have an amazing